Hello, welcome to HDR Garage. I'm Henry. In the last few episodes, we've been refurbishing the front crossmember on this MGB after doing everything else on it. So it's had everything, this car, if you've not watched before. But yeah, the last few episodes we've been doing the front crossmember, and in this episode, it's time to get it into the car. So unfortunately, I can't do that on my own, really. I probably could struggle, but it's not worth it. So I've got Ewan coming today, who's going to give me a hand getting it into the car, which is much needed. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into fitting this front crossmember. We're going to have to bleed the brakes and set the angle of the steering, etc. So yeah, it's going to be a busy episode, but hopefully we can get everything done. So I thought I'd just show you what I've been doing since the last episode, as well as getting a haircut, so my head's a bit cold. Apart from that, I'll show you what I've done. After a few comments from people on the last video, which I do read, every single one, the seals for the bottom of the kingpins I put in the wrong place. So I'll show you what I mean. So the thinner bit of the rubber should go around the kingpin itself, and the wider bit should go around that kind of spacer. I've had to take those back out again, flip them around and put them back in. The other thing I've done is install these Frontline castor correction wedges. So basically it adjusts the castor of the front crossmember to make the steering easier. With modern tyres, the old castor angle makes the steering extremely heavy on an MGB. So these allow you to fit more modern tyres and have a lighter steering. That's good. I've taken the springs back out again, and I've taken the steering rack back off again. That's over there, just to make it easier to fit into the car. Basically, that bolt there goes up through the hole where the spring is, so you can't really get to it unless you take the springs out. So this is how it's going to look when I install it into the car. I've got these in here. Now I've got an Allen key on both sides into this hole. That pops through there. I don't know if you can see it. There's quite a lot of shine. There you go. The hole on the other side. Basically, that keeps that stud with the bolt in, because that's got a pad on the underside of it with that kind of, you can see in there, like that metal plate on the back of it. So I need to locate these into the holes in the car. That's the plan anyway. I've given the underneath of the car a little bit of a clean up. Hello, Archie. Good boy. So yeah, I've given the underneath of the car a little bit of a clean up, just to make it a little bit easier. I've not done the sides. Bear in mind, this engine isn't long for this world. Not in this car anyway. So those two holes there are where the crossmember bolts into, and those two holes there. You can see how that would be quite difficult to do on your own. So yeah, I'm just going to get everything ready. Wait for Ewan to turn up, who's a young lad, really interested in cars. So if I ever need any help with anything, he's a really good person to ask because he's interested, so it's good. Sit back, relax, and watch me fit this front crossmember and bleed all the brakes, etc. on this MGB. We've got the front crossmember underneath the car on the jack. You in here, ready to help me guide the bolt into place. The whole thing needs to go to the left a little bit, but yeah, so I'll set you up on a stand and you can watch us kind of try and fit this into position, then we'll try and bolt everything up. So let's try and jack it up, and then we'll kind of shuffle it that way a little bit as we're jacking it up. And yeah, we'll try and line that up. Is that okay? In. Line's about good. And this whole thing's no longer that way now, okay? You need to make sure, see that these little pliers here.
What are those?
So the little wedges, they need to be in the right place as well. So as we're doing it, we'll kind of move those about as well. Yeah, you just keep it steady for a sec. Ever seen these type of nuts before? So they've got two slots in.
Yeah.
So as you tighten it down, they're kind of compressed in, so it's like a lock nut. So as you tighten it down, you don't need like a lock washer underneath.
Yeah.
They act as it, if you know what I mean. Or we just slam it up.
One pray.
Right.
On the bolt showing?
No.
Oh.
I've got like a little bit left.
Not here, you're fried.
The jack just slips a little bit. Right. We've got a few threads on each one now, so it ain't going anywhere anymore, which is good. Right, hopefully, as you saw by that video, we've kind of got it into position just. We've got the front bolts in. It's incredibly difficult to kind of get it on the jack and jack it up because the angle of the front crossmember makes the jack want to slide backwards. Managed to get a few threads on the front bolts, which I'll show you now. You can see there, we've got the new nuts that Frontline supply. They're like a half-size lock nut. Obviously, because you're adding kind of length or, yeah, with those castor adjusters. So yeah, we've got the front ones in. So now we need to try and get the rear ones in so that it's all locked up into place and then we can bolt everything together. So we'll try and slide these nuts in now. So you can see you go through the carburetor linkage there, down onto the bolt there to kind of do it up. That's why I'm using this, just so I don't have to, I'm going to torque it up properly with a torque wrench afterwards. But this is just to do the bulk of the work. Ewan's down here on the spanner holding it from underneath. So yeah. Right, we torqued everything up. However, we just noticed that the Frontline little castor adjuster has slipped on the driver's side. So we're just going to try and sort that out now by undoing it again and then like kind of moving it over. I'll show you what I mean. You can see that metal bit there has just fallen on the wrong side. I'd rather it be absolutely central. So we're going to undo it and put it back in the middle and then tighten it all back up again. This is now all bolted in. Ewan, do you want to come and show them just here? So this bush is a little bit deformed, but it is in contact everywhere. So yeah, someone did mention that the poly bushes aren't the ideal solution with these castor wedges, but it seems to be working. So we'll see how it goes. I'll send a picture to Frontline and see what they think. But before that, we will get this spring in. So this spring, obviously I did put it in last episode, but I had to take it off again because you have to get to that bolt up there. So we've got to put this in here, jack this up, attach this top of the damper to this point here. I don't know if you want to show them that. So into there, and then the kingpin here has to go between these two arms here. So we'll put you on a time lapse while we do all that. So we're having some difficulties here. The weight of the car isn't enough to compress the spring enough to, to bolt it up at the top. I'll show you what I've tried to do, which has kind of helped. So we've got a ratchet strap around there. We've got the jack under here. You can see it's still lifting off the axle stand. I've got a tiny bit of thread through here. So my initial thought was, well, I'll get a bolt on that and pull it in with a bolt. However, I need to get this in then. So as soon as I undo it, it would fall back down again. So it needs to come up a good inch or so. Whew. You might have noticed that we stopped filming for a little bit there. whilst we were trying to figure it out. Basically, what we ended up doing was compressing the rubber with a load of washers, leaving it there for 15 minutes while we did the top of the kingpin. Now, the top of the kingpin wasn't too bad. I'll show you how we did it when I turn the camera around. So you can see there, the nut and the lock nut are on. So yeah, I put some washers over the top of the rubber and tightened it down. Left it there for 15 minutes whilst we did this. So this, we lifted the arms up, pushed the kingpin back, and then kind of pulled them out and slotted them down over the top of the rubbers, and then kind of hammered that nut bolt through, and then tightened it up. Wasn't too bad that, but definitely easier to get that into position that way, and then bring those arms down from above. We tried originally just to push this in, it didn't work. You need the arm to be able to pull down on it, but that works in the end. So that's there. Say that's all locked into place. So this side is pretty much done, apart from setting this wheel bearing torque. I'm going to do that later on. Obviously hooking up the caliper and everything. Right, well, we're going to follow the same process now for the other side. It's really hard to film on that side. It's dark and there's a lot less room. So we're just going to get it over there, and I'll just give you a couple of updates of how you do those certain bits. Right then, you can see we've got some washers and the nut here. So I've been pulling the damper up using that, and then every time I've got a bit more in it, I've put another click on the ratchet strap. So the ratchet strap's not pulling it in, it's just holding it where it is, but the ratchet strap is very much broken now, so that's as much as I'm getting. So hopefully I'm going to take this off and that's going to stay where it is. I can put the rubber on with a washer, not with that, compress it, leave it where it is for a bit, so it compresses naturally, and then quickly whip the nut off and put the proper securing washer, big washer on. So that's kind of what we're doing. Now for this, what we're going to do is put these arms up like that. When that's in there, we're going to drop them down on it and spread them apart like that. Okay, so that's how we're doing that. So I'll give you another update once we've all fitted it. Right, we'll leave that compressed now for the next 10 minutes or so, and then I'll try and undo it and put the other one on. God, this is tricky. I think it would have been a lot easier with the standard spring because it's softer and I could have compressed it a bit better. Obviously, this has got a higher spring rate, if you like, so it's a stiffer spring, so it's harder to compress. So as soon as you try and jack the car up, it just lifts the car with it, which is annoying. This side's being more of a pain than the other side. I've been at this for a few hours now, trying to just get this nut on. Basically, every time I get to the point where this will fit on, there's just not enough threads at the top to be able to fit it on. I'll turn the camera on and show you. So I'm literally a few millimeters away. So I can lift this up a little bit, and then you can see literally a few millimeters away, and there's no other way I can get that more together because the damper just falls every time. It's the compression of the rubber inside. I've tried doing what I did last time, compressing it and then letting it go and then quickly getting the nut on. Just nothing seems to be working. So I'm just going to keep at it and just see if I can somehow get it to work somehow. Yeah, extremely frustrating because this was meant to be just the easy bit, just get the top nut on. I've got loads of other stuff to do and not much time to do it now. So yeah, Ewan's gone home. So I'm on my own again. So yeah, I'll give you an update, hopefully when I've got it on, if I can get it on. And I've done it. I'll show you how. Yeah. So there you go, it's on, and you can see there's something missing here. So the kit came with this. I spoke to Frontline, and they said, that's not meant to be on there, essentially. So take that off, and what would you know? It fits. So good job I spoke to them, because I was struggling there. That's on, so I just need to tighten it up, and then put the lock nut on the top, and we're good. Only issue now is, even though I managed to do it on the other side, it's obviously fitted wrong. So I need to just loosen it off, drop it down, take that washer that was here out from the other side as well, and then we're done, and we can start with the calipers and some other bits and bobs. So yeah, lessons learned on that one. But yeah, I'll tighten this up now. Right, unfortunately, I can't undo these enough to get this off, and I don't want to thread that Allen key at the top. So on this side, that's staying. It's on, it's secure. As far as I'm concerned, all it means is the damper sits a mil lower because although it's compressed the same amount. So yeah, frustrating that, but it is what it is. I'll double check with Frontline that now that I've got that on, if it's okay to leave on. But yeah, I can't undo these top nuts now, and I don't want to end up threading them. There's just too much force going upwards on it. So I have to move on now to doing something else, which I think will be sorting this torque out for the wheel bearing. So I need to reread up on how to do that, and then I'll get back to you. If I can put that in properly, then that'll be good. And I can get the pin through one of these holes. So I'll read up how to do that, and then I'll get back to you. So I just had a quick read. So the shims are already in mine. Hopefully it's the same amount of shims as when I took it off. So now I need to tighten it up to, I think it's 60 foot-pounds. And at 60 foot-pounds, it should go tight. The wheel, this should still spin, and I should have limited end float. So to be honest, I don't think I've got any really anyway. So I'll just check what torque that is, because obviously I did it with the Ugga Dugga in the vise. So I just want to check what it is and then put the pin through, and then we'll be done with that. Well, let's hope this theory works then. Oh, I did get a bit of movement, so that still turns nice. Not bound up. And there's no movement there. I mean, I could put my dial indicator on there, I suppose, and double check. I'll do that. For end flow, I've got 0.2 mil. Just work out what that is in thou. So, sorry, it's 0.02, isn't it? So that is 0.8 thou. So I think that is good enough for me. So now I just need to turn it a little bit more or less or whatever to find to one of the holes with the castellated nut. So I'll do that on the time lapse, I think. I wanted to let you guys know what was going on here. So I found the hole, but I couldn't see all the way through it, but I assumed it was just some grease or something in the hole, and that was it. Unfortunately, what had happened was someone had snapped a pin in there at some point. Now this was not a brand new kingpin, it was a refurbished one. Obviously that had been missed in the refurbishment. So you can see me having to drill it all out and stuff. So yeah, a bit of a pain this one, but we got there in the end. I've not got my mic on, so the audio is not going to be great here, but it's just one issue after another today. And you just have days like that sometimes, don't you? This kingpin, which is new to me, but obviously been refurbished in the past, the hole has got something stuck in the middle of it. And there's only one hole on this kingpin. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I'll turn the camera around and show you. And there you go, you can see you can't see any light through it. So a pin has got stuck in there in the past, and they've refurbished it anyway. So now I've got to try and drill that out. So that's why I've taken all the bearing and everything off again. I need to get a bit better kind of perches on the drill. What a pain. It's done. Fights me, doesn't it, this car? It fights me constantly. Suspension, nope. Brakes, nope. Wheel bearings, nope. Making me work for it, that's for sure. So that's one side done. With the little cap, I filled the cap with grease, half full, and you push that on. Pins locked in, 60 foot-pounds of torque, and then to the next gap. Bearings nice and free. So, again, that other side of the carport over there is dark and dingy and whatever. So not only am I going to struggle to see myself, it's going to be impossible for you guys to see anything. So I'll just show you once I've done. It's like 5, 6 o'clock-ish now. I don't know what time it is. So hopefully if I can just get that done by the end of today, then tomorrow we can fit the rest of everything we need. So brake caliper and bleed the brakes and all that type of stuff tomorrow. I wanted if I had all that done today, to be honest. But obviously, the car had other ideas. My little lad did come to help me do the wheel bearing though, which was nice. I don't know whether he was a help or a hindrance, but it was nice having him around anyway. Right then, both of those are done. Sorry about the weird light. I've got this inspection light underneath me. Ooh. So wheel bearings are good. They feel really nice, smooth. So that's good. Worth changing those. I've done both sides now. The last thing I'm going to do tonight, just so it's done, is put on the anti-roll bar mounts. Now I'll show you what that entails. I understand it's going to be quite hard to see now. Basically, there's a couple of holes there, and I've got some new straps, some new bushes to go around there, and I've also bought some lock rings. I'll show you. So the whole point of an anti-roll bar is it's got to not move from left to right. So I've got new straps. Got these to go on the inside of both sides because it's a 3/4 anti-roll bar now. The original ones wouldn't fit, so I've got these. And then I've got some new bushes here, so I'll put some grease on. So hopefully that's a nice, easy installation, he says. So I will do that now and then show you what it looks like. Right then, that was a little bit more of a pain as well, but it's in. So I'll show you what it looks like and what I've kind of come up with, because basically you need to stop left and right movement on an anti-roll bar. So, and on these 3/4 ones, obviously you don't have the original, you can't fit the original little plate that comes with it. So I'll show you what I've done. I might change it, I'm not sure yet, but it will work, I think. So there you go. I've put like these collars on. Now the collars obviously don't go up to the bush like I'd want them to because the frame's kind of in the way, but they are sat on the frame. The frame won't let them move left and right. I don't know if that's the best kind of solution. I might see if I can get some thinner ones and pop them closer into the bush, or file the top of these off and turn them around and push them in or something, but they're doing the job anyway. It won't go left or right, so I'm thinking that's pretty much in the middle. See the drop links there? It maybe could do with shifting over to the left slightly, but I'm going to figure that out. I need to go inside and chill out for the rest of the night. It's pitch black now, about 7ish. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon to carry on with this, and then I've got a full day on Saturday. So yeah, 2 more days hopefully to get all the brakes back on, everything bleeded, all back on the ground and finished suspension wise anyway. So let's hope we can do that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. Didn't manage to get in the garage yesterday. We ended up going out for the day. So I've got 1 day left to finish this front suspension, hopefully anyway. We need to get the steering rack on, line it all up, shim it so it's the correct angle. We need to put the brake calipers on, bleed all the brakes, and drop it back down. Obviously I also need to bleed the back brakes as well, so I'll do those first because you always do what's furthest away first from the brake master cylinder. So we'll do that. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I've missed. Oh yeah, we need to grease every single grease point as well, which will be fun, won't it? We might not get around to that, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm just gonna start getting stuff done. Dad's coming around today to give me a hand with bleeding the brakes, so that should be useful. I'm going to start with this steering rack, I think. Get that on and in place because I think that's going to be a little bit tricky. Now, I've never actually fitted a steering rack before. Obviously I need to get it central. So what I've done is I've put the... my microphone died, so I'm going to have to do all that again. Basically what I've done is put the steering wheel straight, and what I'm going to do then is turn the steering rack all the way to the left and then count how many turns it takes to get all the way to the right. I'll divide that by 2 and then turn it back the other way until I get to the middle, and then I can install it, and hopefully I should be dead centered in the car then. That's the theory anyway, but I've never done it before, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. So what I think I'm going to do is when I get all the way to the right, I'll put a line here and here so I can tell how many times I've done a full revolution. And I've got to get it into that steering knuckle in there. So yeah, wish me luck. I'll get you on the stand and you can see me do it. Right, my dad showed up. So he's going to try and guide the steering column into that little, what do you call it, knuckle. And also keep the steering wheel straight while we're doing it. I'm going to feed the steering rack up from underneath and try and guide it to his hand so that we can then get it into that knuckle. So we'll try that now. I don't know how successful that'll be. So you can see down here we've got those two lines lined up. Got a line here that's kind of towards the top, and then we've got lines here so that we know where straight. Dad's holding that steering wheel straight. He's pushed that from the inside of the car towards the engine to get that first bit. And he's just come up with the idea of splitting this, so trying to spread this apart a little bit to make it easier for that shaft to go into this knuckle. And a little bit of oil on it as well. So we're going to try and do that now, and hopefully that makes it easier to push in. It's hard to film up here, I can't really. So we'll do that and then let you know if it works or not. So there you go, it's in. Doing exactly the method we said. So we spread that knuckle apart with a wedge through here. And then I got a screwdriver into here and just kind of teased it that way, and eventually it went through. We used a punch then to clear the hole, if you know what I mean, so that, because we went in a little bit too far then. So to bring it back a bit, we used a punch and then we've put the bolt through. So that's all nicely tightened up. Hopefully the steering's all straight and level. So now it's time to attach the trackbody ends to the steering arms, and then the steering's done. So I'll do that now. So I had my dad just turn the steering wheel left and right a few times, and I noticed that because I'm not bolting anything down, where it was not binding completely was about 1 shim's distance. So Frontline give you these little light washers to put in between the steering rack and the mounting point. Obviously I've already got these original ones up here. So if my dad just turns the steering wheel from left to right now, yeah. No binding points or any tough bits?
No.
Nice and free?
Nice and free. I can spin it.
Perfect, so those 2 shims are the right distance to keep it all.
That's it.
Perfect, so let's tighten all that up now. So that steering rack is bolted in. Track rod ends are bolted in. Obviously I'll sort the tracking out properly later. I've got it kind of eyeballed straight on each side, steering wheel straight, so it's starting to look really, really good. So now it's time for the Frontline brake calipers, which are here. Dad's just sorting out our brake bleeding kit that he's used a long time ago on the XJS. So they're the Frontline calipers that we need to install now, which are gorgeous. Now I'm hoping this is a simple installation now. Basically, you use the original bolts through the back, and then they supply a new lock washer with them, which are somewhere. Basically the new version of this. So there's the old one. You put it on and then knock the sides up whilst you do it. So I'll find where the new ones have gone, and then we'll fit the brake calipers. We'll do that now. This would be a really good time to mention Frontline Cars, who have helped me out with several parts for this MGB. Don't forget to use the discount code FrontlineXHJR if you want any upgrades for your MG. Do you reckon a bit of copper slip on the bolts, or
Sorry?
do you reckon there's a bit of copper slip on them?
Yeah, I would do. Yeah.
Do that? Tighten it with this little thing. There we go. Right, so now just blunt chisel.
Oh.
It does indeed. Okay. Bloody sun. Yeah, thanks, you just stay there. Quite hard not to hit the caliper, so I put a little dent in it, but at the end of the world. Almost vertically upwards. Yeah, that makes sense.
The brake hose from the banjo. Initially nip the fittings to check carefully that the hose does not become strained or trapped from the suspension or when the wheel. The only thing is now is that that's going to. Don't like that.
It's not in the way of the suspension there, though, is it? But no, that kind of looks all right to me.
Right,
do you think?
Don't forget, it's going to. Your wheels on full lock that way.
No, it is getting closer to the.
Yeah.
Okay, all the way the other way. I'll undo this top section here and drop it, and then get that in the right place. Then tighten that up.
Yeah.
Probably done it the wrong way round. Sounds tight. More like that. Okay, try that. Yeah, that's fine, Dad. It's just moving itself in. So. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Lock the banjo down.
Yeah.
Okay. A little screwdriver to get this. Now, these are solders like really simple to do pads.
Just a slip going on this side then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those are similar to.
Brembo's.
Yeah.
Brembo brakes
Yeah.
have very similar fit into that.
Yeah.
So that should be done. Pins are in.
I'll come out with
That'll come out. Happy days. Next one.
Right.
That caliper installation was quite nice actually. Had a bit of an issue with the brake hose. We need to take it off again, disconnect it at the car side so we could rotate it fully. But now the caliper's on, I'll show you what it looks like. Nice and shiny and new. You can see the banjo there pointing upwards with bend outwards. Nice angle on the flexible. That's all tightened up, and that kind of loop goes around this bolt here, which is nice. Calipers are in, clips to the inside, fits into those little recesses there. Pins fit into those little recesses there. So done, I put a bit of copper slip on the back of the pads to stop them hopefully squeaking. So we'll fit the other pads on the front, and then it's time to bleed the brakes. Right then, the caliper on the passenger side's on. I'll show you that in a sec. We've also jacked the car off and took the rear wheels off, and we're ready to start bleeding the brake system, which is exciting. So Dad's going to be chief brake pusherer, and I'm going to be nipple opener and closerer. I'll show you the brake caliper. There's the passenger side brake caliper now, which is good. So we're still at an angle. Shouldn't matter because it's a pressurized system. I just jacked them back up enough just so it was off the ground. So there's the bleed nipple there. So obviously I'll go through how we're going to do that in a minute. You can do this on your own if you've got something to put pressure into the system, which we have got in this kit. You would put one of those caps over the brake master cylinder, attach the compressor or the air from a tyre or something into here, and it would push the brake fluid to each corner. I've got a Dad to do that for me, so I don't need it. So yeah, we're going to set up this kit on the back left brake first, because you always go from the furthest point away from the brake master cylinder, because obviously that's where all the air will be. We'll do that now, and I'll try my best to show you. So we had a bit of confusion then, because the brake fluid I've got is synthetic. Now, because we're going to clean the system out completely, I think that should be fine. It'll be completely 5.1 synthetic, which is a high-performing brake fluid. Hopefully we can get all the .4 mineral out first. So we're going to, how we actually bleed the brakes is, once we pumped it all through, Dad will pump the brake pedal down, then I will close off the nipple on the brake caliper, and when you let the brake pedal up again, it sucks more fluid in to the brake reservoir to fill the line. So that's how you do it. But just to start off with, we'll just have the nipples open, pump everything out of the system. If there's anything left, because to be honest, it's been dripping for a couple of weeks now, so hopefully it's just gravity bled everything out. So, but we'll start with that anyway, and then I'll get back to you once we start actually bleeding the brakes. So here's my brake fluid. So I'm going to pour that into the reservoir, and we're going to start pumping. And Dad's having a nice time reclining in there. So yeah, we're going to pour that in there. I don't have a funnel, so this could be interesting, but it's the 5.1 synthetic shouldn't affect your paintwork either. Okay, so that's full. Yeah, so that's going down now, which is good. Oh, there we go. There you go. So we've got fluid all the way to the back. We can lock off these. Now we can start doing what we plan to do. I'm going to top up the reservoir again, and then we can bleed these brakes. Right, now we're going to start the proper. So, right, open, close, open, close, bubbles are coming through, open, close, open, close, good, open, close, still some bubbles, yeah, just every now and again. Let me just check the reservoir again. Open, nothing then. No bubbles at that time, no. Try one more time maybe. Closed. Open. Yeah, nothing. Oh yeah, some bubbles then. Oh, no, it's still open because it's letting loads of bubbles out now. Right. Closed. Open. Close. One more. Open. Close. Yeah, there's nothing there. Right, happy days. That one's now solid. So we're going to move on to the other back one. I don't think you need to see us do every single break. So I'll show you the finished bit. Open. Closed. Open. Closed. Open. Closed. Had a pit stop for the pusher. The hearing aid battery needs changing. Right, both back brakes are bled. Put the dust caps back on. No bubbles coming out there. So now it's just time for the front. Same process.
All powered up.
All powered up.
All powered up.
Happy days. Right, front brakes now. Right, how does it feel?
Feels solid.
So successfully bled.
We're just going to leave it now, I think, and test it again. We'll check all 4 corners.
Nice and solid now though.
Yeah, solid.
Only one spillage, so that's not too bad, is it? Now we've got potentially the hardest job of the day, and that's to extract Dad from the from the car. So let's try and do that. You've lost it somewhere. And nearly there. We're out. That's not too bad, actually, was it? What's the fluid? Right, wheels on now. Down on the ground. Front end's a bit high at the moment. I think that just needs to settle a bit. Although I did just notice something. I ordered 1 inch lowering blocks for the back. 15mm lowering springs. Now 15mm is half an inch. And the back of an MGB sits lower than the front anyway, so I think I've miscalculated that. So I might end up taking the rear block out again, and then it should be about the right ride height then. Or order some lower for the front, but I don't want to make the front suspension too stiff either, so I might end up taking that block out the back. Still looks good, and then you can see the brake calipers pointing through there. So happy with the way it looks. It's so close now to finishing this. Now, I still need to grease up everything, but I think I'm going to do a whole episode on all the different grease points on an MGB, so I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that in the future. I do want to take this moment just to thank Frontline for all the help. Fantastic company. Fantastic company. And I'm hoping I can use them again in the future for different bits other than the suspension. But that's all my Frontline bits kind of done now. All the suspension setup is complete. So yeah, what's left on the car now is getting that paint job sorted, which I'm not looking forward to. I've been putting it off because it's not my expertise really, all that fine fiddly stuff, but I'll get it done somehow, some way, and get the interior nice and sorted. Got new carpet for that. The seats and everything are good. The last owner did the interior of the car, so the interior was actually spot on. So yeah, again, thanks Frontline. If you want to use any of their parts, and do, they are fantastic. Such good quality, and they've been with me at the end of the phone the whole step of the way whilst I'm fitting it. Obviously, hopefully you can use my videos as a bit of a instruction of how to do it. If you are going to order their parts, use Frontline XHDR to do it. Get yourself 5% off, and obviously it helps me because they know that someone's watched the video and bought the part. So if you could do that, if you want anything, good. Those castor correction wedges would be a really good place to start. They're only £100, I think, and apparently with modern tyres and stuff, they make a massive difference. They're not that difficult to fit either. So if you want to get going on something on your MGB, I think that'd be a really good place to start. Fit some nice new grippy tyres on the car as well. But yeah, another episode by me done. I'm going to enjoy this sunshine for a little bit because I've been cooped up in the garage for too long. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again, hopefully next week. But again, I'm working so much at the moment. I've managed to get one out every week so far, but I'm pushing myself to do it. So maybe not next week, but we'll see. It might be just a smaller episode on those grease points or something. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Frontline for all the help. Thanks for Ewan. Thanks to my dad for giving me a hand too. Couldn't have done it without them today. And I'll see you next time.